Welcome to TV9 Morning with Carrie Robertson, Larry Bledsoe, and meteorologist Gary Lezak with the weather.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to TV9 Morning. This Monday, it is June 6th.
We're so glad you could join us after what Gary Lezak last week promised would be a beautiful weekend, and it was weather-wise.
Really was.
Yes, wasn't it perfect? Perfect for all kinds of activities.
It was. Beautiful.
Yeah, we had our benefit softball game on Saturday, you know, Oklahoma, KWTV versus the Midwest City EMS, Emergency Medical Service. We won 27-13, you know, it was for the benefit.
Oh, you let them up.
Yeah, it was a close game, believe it or not, to the last couple of innings, and we just started ripping the ball. But
another one of those cliffhangers.
That's true.
Good for you.
Good.
It was a very good game, very exciting, and we appreciated Jim Sanders, who arranged it, and it was fantastic.
Nanette and I went out to the zoo yesterday. We saw Blinky Bill. He's going to be the koala. We had Jim Maxwell, as you all know, back in here on Friday, his keeper from San Diego Zoo. And Jim was out there, and Nanette and I visited with him for about 10 minutes, and it was delightful, and the crowds were unbelievable. And as Jim said, and it happened while we were there, he said Blinky will just, and the little bear was sitting up in a tree, or hanging up in a tree, however they get in a tree, but it was asleep. And people are just watching, cameras poised, everybody ready to go, and all of a sudden he starts moving. And the crowd just roars. Look!
We're all taking pictures.
Boy, I mean, the cameras are going crazy, and he said it's been that way all day.
Oh, I've got to get out there to see.
Dude, because they're going to be there through July 4th, and then they'll go back to San Diego. It's delightful.
Oh, great.
Wow,
And the weather is going to continue, we hope.
That's true.
Oh, I was a raft potato this weekend. I said I was going to be, and I was
Wasn't
one.
out on your pool, just lay it on the raft.
It was
no
wonderful.
wind.
It was great.
Gosh,
It was perfect.
Let's keep it up. Let's keep it up. No doubt about it, you know, the entire week. It's hard to believe.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
The entire week's going to be a lot like this weekend. No rain expected, sunshine, dry weather. This morning, it's a little on the mild side. Let's check our temperature right now in Oklahoma City. 61 degrees at 6:02. The humidity is 75%. The winds are calm. How about that? This afternoon, we'll see those winds southeast at 5 to 15 miles per hour. Let's check temperatures across the state in the 50s and 60s. Almost record temperatures, believe it or not. The record low for this state is 52 degrees, just 9 degrees above that here in Oklahoma City with 61. And here's the unbelievable 5-day forecast. 84 today, 87 tomorrow, 89 on Wednesday, 90 Thursday and Friday, and it is just wonderful. Let's check the forecast for the city today. A high of 84 degrees, tomorrow 87. You know, my 10-day outlook for the next 10 days is for temperatures to be above normal and precipitation to be almost zero.
Oh, dear.
So that's not
good and bad news.
Yeah,
that's true. Parts of the state, though, over the last few days have had enough rain. Down in Norman and Moore, they had 1 to 2 inches of rain in the last few days, but most of Oklahoma City did not have that much.
Okay, Gary, thank you a lot.
Good weather. Well, do you need a little oomph to get you going on this Monday morning? We've got just the cure for the Monday doldrums. Jazz singer Lisa Tersey, pianist Peter Krause are going to bring you more great jazz music later on.
New findings point to a woman's need for the hormone estrogen. Dr. Ivan Backerman from the Emory University of Medicine will tell us about a new way to get that extra estrogen. And
we'll talk with the State 4-H Hall of Fame winners, Jerry Kiefer and Natalie James. Now, all that and much more is coming up right here on TV9 Morning. Carrie?
Still to come in the news, an Oklahoma policeman dies backing up another policeman. The Army Corps of Engineers wants Edmond to pay up or risk losing Lake Arcadia. Some Central City neighbors say their wishes are ignored, and the end of an era as the curtain comes down on Act 1 of the Carpenter Square Theater. All next on TV9 Morning.
Welcome back to TV9 Morning. It is 6:06 on this Monday morning, June 6th. It is also 61 degrees in the metro area, according to Gary Lezak. In Okeen, 59. Now let's go to Carrie Robertson with this morning's news. Carrie?
Thank you, Larry. In the news this morning, things like this just don't happen in our town. It's been pretty scary. Those words from the owner of a motel in Miami, Oklahoma. She's talking about an Oklahoma officer killed in a shootout at her motel last night. Police say Officer Brian Tennell died from a gunshot wound to the head. He was backup for another officer trying to arrest a Texas man at the motel. The suspect, Russell Wayne Haynes, was under revocation of probation for assaulting a police officer in Texas. Police say they're not sure if the other officer involved is badly hurt. A prison inmate will go on trial for murder today. Ronald Ray Smith is accused of murdering a woman while he was out on a work release program. Kathy Jo Silverthorne's body was found in a bathtub at the Myriad Motor Inn last April. Prosecutors say she'd been beaten, choked with a lamp cord, and drowned in the tub. Charges against Smith had been dropped at one point because expert witnesses were unavailable. Those charges were later refiled. A trial will also begin tomorrow in the case of a man killed in a dispute over T-tops. Clinton Ray Smith is accused of shooting Edward August as he sat in a car outside the G&D grocery. When Smith surrendered to police, they say he told them he fired the shots in anger, believing August had stolen T-tops from his car. Smith is charged with first-degree murder. Newsline 9 has learned a plan to keep Lake Arcadia open is in the works. The Army Corps of Engineers has threatened to close the lake if Edmond doesn't pay up. Edmond City Council meets tonight to discuss paying the Corps part of its debt.
Lake Arcadia has been open less than a year, and now it may be about to close. A 1988 bill from the Corps of Engineers says the city owes $9 million for 3 parks, but the contract says 8 parks would cost Edmond only $4 million. Edmond's city manager says the Corps has built half of what they agreed to, so they should be paid half, or $2 million.
We're hoping that we can come up with some sort of a action from the city council meeting that will result in the park staying open, but will not result in the city agreeing to pay the cost overruns that the Corps has run up.
If the Corps rejects the offer, Spiegel says the city has other options. One is a bond issue to raise money for the Corps' demands. That proposal would need the voters' approval. A bait and tackle shop down the road from Arcadia has been doing great business since the lake opened. Closing it would be disastrous.
It probably would put us out of business. Our taxpayers have, paid for that lake, and we all want to keep it open. And certainly, I feel like I'd have to support a bond issue, but I won't say it's right.
I'm not sure how I'd vote for it. I'd have to vote in favor of our business, that's for sure.
Edmond officials are taking the Army Corps threat seriously. The Corps has threatened to close other projects in the past and made good on their promises. A group of Fairview residents don't want hazardous liquids dumped into the Cimarron River, but state officials say their argument isn't valid. Fairview's Lone Mountain facility is a hazardous waste disposal site. It wants to dump the treated wastewater, but townspeople say that could cause the area to be polluted. Members of the State Water Resources Board say they've considered the group's argument, but they'll go along with the waste disposal plan. Another Oklahoma group is fighting a neighborhood traffic plan. Folks in Heritage Hills East in Central City are angry about traffic barriers going up in their neighborhood soon. They say from the beginning those in charge of the project didn't want to hear their opinion.
There was a memo that the neighborhood organization sent out back in '86. I did not receive a copy of it. I knew nothing about the neighborhood meeting.
People that don't like something are going to say things like that. I think that we've tried hard to listen to everybody's reservations and suggestions and ideas, and we've tried to incorporate as many of those into our plan as we could.
Wiggins says the plan has been in the works for years, and residents had time to voice their opposition. The stage is bare, and soon it will be gone. But the principal players say Carpenter Square Theater will continue even after the building is torn down. Kim Cook and photographer Larry Lockman have one actor's farewell.
The new sign out front is the lone reminder of the color that came alive on stage inside this old crumbling warehouse. Carpenter Square Theater opened its first season 3 years ago. It boasted of bringing off-Broadway plays to its just-off-Classen location. The troupe who performed here struggled to earn its now loyal following. And for actor Lynn Slater, it all happened here.
But the actors have made this theater. You could plop some of our actors down in the middle of that empty stage over there with no set, with no props, with no costumes, and they could perform the daylights out of you. That's what makes Carpenter Square different.
But the walls will soon be torn down to make way for a city-county jail. One wall will be sorely missed by the characters who pinned their memories there.
And everyone puts something down that's special about the show or special about it to the person who was in it.
The actors agreed it was time for them to leave. They'd outgrown the building. They're looking for another downtown location. But even if they find it, Slater says it won't be quite the same.
it's going to be sad to lose it, because I think this building has a soul of its own, and it knows that for the last days that it was here, it housed something very special.
Slater says fortunately the spirit of Carpenter Square will not fade, even if their lights shine somewhere else. Kim Cook, Newsline 9.
Now for a look at last week's activity at the Oklahoma National Stockyards. 33,300 head of cattle were sold. 500 to 600 pound feeder steers went for $84.50 to $88 even. 500 to 600 pound feeder heifers went for $80 to $86.50. Breaking utility and commercial cows ranged from $42.75 to $46.50. Cutter and boning utility cows sold for $43 to $49.25. 1,500 to 2,000 pound slaughter bulls went for $59 to $65 even. 1,920 head of hogs were sold. Top price on barrels and gilts was $50.40 paid Tuesday, and 365 feeder pigs made up 19% of the supply. 100,000 women enter the age range of natural menopause every month. That means various physical and psychological changes. A little later on TV9 Morning, Dr. Ivan Backerman talks to us about an extra dose of estrogen, how important that is and how it can help. But first, the weather with Gary Lezak.
Dear Oprah, it's all your fault. I've lost 121 pounds, and it's all because of you. Be careful. Your audience is getting smaller.
Because of me? Girlfriend, I have been there. I'm still there fighting this everlasting battle of my thighs, but I'm glad you won it.
Oprah Winfrey. She doesn't just speak her mind. She opens her heart.
Keep off the good work, Oprah.
Welcome back to TV9. It is now 6:14 on a Monday morning. Fanfare is heading up the big calendar of events in Nashville this week. If you're headed for Nashville, be sure and go. Barbara Mandrell, all of the stars, you know the situation, all the country western stars, and a lot more really show up for that thing. Oprah Winfrey's down there this week.
It's called Fanfare?
Fanfare.
Fanfare.
And that's what gives the opportunity for the fan to go meet them face to face, visit with them.
How fun.
Oh yeah, Barbara Mandrell has a picnic for her fans out there on the grounds. Dottie West opens her home to them, and she serves dinner or lunch.
I bet Dolly has something planned.
Dolly, I'm sure, has plans there, and it's just amazing the turnout, the number of stars that are there, and they all take the same attitude. If it wasn't for these people, what would we be?
Oh, for the fans,
so
right.
it's their chance.
Oh, speaking of fans, I'm a big fan of anything on Broadway, and last night was the annual Tony Awards, and Phantom of the Opera won
a
7.
whole lot, yeah.
Yeah. You were listening to the radio, too, this morning.
How many did they win?
7.
7
That's
Tony
a lot.
Awards.
Yes.
It's amazing.
That is something.
Well, what kind of weather are we going to have today?
It's going to be award-winning again today.
Oh, great.
The rest of the week, it's going to be a great week. No rain expected, so if you want some rain, we're not going to get any, doesn't look like, at least through Wednesday and probably through next weekend, let's hope. Right now, our temperature in Oklahoma City is 61 degrees. At 6:15, the humidity is 75%. The winds right now are calm. The pressure 30.12, and it is rising very slowly and should fall a little bit over the next couple of days. Let's take a look at our temperature stats. The records for today's date are, there we go, 102 degrees back in 1911, 52 the record low. You notice for the first time this year, the record low is above 49 into the 50s. So we're approaching summertime, in fact, just 2 weeks away. 85 degrees, our normal high. Yesterday was a beautiful day, wasn't it? 81 degrees. The winds were almost calm most of the day, 5 miles per hour. The most of the day will be very similar, just a little bit warmer. We'll be very close to normal, maybe 84 degrees. This morning's low so far, 61. Temperatures across the state in the 50s and 60s. It's just non-air conditioning weather overnight. You could have had your windows open. You probably had a slight breeze. 62 in Ardmore, 59 in Ponca City and Enid and Gage this morning, so rather pleasant out there. On our satellite shot, there are some rain showers just to our west, a few thunderstorms in the Texas Panhandle. Believe it or not, over the last 3 or 4 days, showers and thunderstorms have persisted out here, but we have a block right through the central part of the country. You might be able to see, here's the jet stream coming up over the western part of the nation, going way up into northern Canada. Then it comes back down over the eastern part of the country. We're right in the middle, so we're going to be blocked from any storms for quite some time. I don't see us having a major storm in our area for many, many days, in fact, possibly for a very, very long time. Tomorrow, later on this afternoon, showers and thunderstorms again will be forming in Colorado. Some of those could drift into the Panhandle. 91 degrees in Albuquerque later on today. 95 in Rapid City. In fact, it could be near 100 degrees for the rest of the week in the northern plains. Here's this front. It's going to bump into that ridge, and there's no way it's going to make it into Oklahoma. And showers and thunderstorms along the Gulf Coast. Believe it or not, that storm is the one that affected us last week, and it's just not moving anywhere. Here's our 5-day forecast. It looks fantastic. 84 today, 87 tomorrow, 89 on Wednesday, near 90 Thursday and Friday. The winds will remain light throughout most of the next few days, although by later on tomorrow we'll see the winds increase to 10 to 20 miles per hour, but at least not stronger than that. Forecast for the state. For today, sunshine, southeast winds, highs in the 80s to near 90 degrees. For tonight, fair and mild, light winds, lows 56 to 66. Tomorrow we begin to go above normal with highs 84 to 94 degrees. And for Oklahoma City, 84 today and 87 degrees tomorrow.
Gary,
we have some letters. Can you believe?
No, I can't. I just can't believe the forecast.
That is a beautiful looking 5-day forecast. I think we ought to frame it.
It's good. How, you know, it is really nice. I agree. We got some letters, you know. This one lady, Dolores Lawler from Oklahoma City, sent us a really nice one. She says, "Dear Gary, I really like the flashing lightning bolts and falling rain on your 5-day forecast when rain is expected. Keep up the good work, and tell Carrie and Larry hello."
Well, hello back.
Well, hi.
Yeah. And but fortunately, the next few days we won't have the flashing lightning bolts and rain on our 5-day forecast.
That is pretty flashy when you do that. It's quite a show. It looks like Las Vegas. Mrs. W.D. Eggers from Morrison, Oklahoma, wrote a nice note saying how much she enjoys the show. Gary Lezak, if you would from time to time give sunrise and sunset times.
Okay, excellent.
She would like to have that. We are faithful viewers of the morning show. And also we have a little fan named David Dawson from Yukon, Oklahoma. He writes from time to time, and he just drew a little cartoon character here on a Channel 9 surfboard. Is that Carrie, Larry, or Gary?
Yeah. I think that's
Who
Larry.
is that? Thank you, David. Well, it's not me.
Yeah, it's definitely Larry Bledsoe.
Okay. Thanks for all those nice letters. We always read them, and we really appreciate it.
And we appreciate it.
Did you know a lack of estrogen can contribute to heart disease and osteoporosis in women?
Well, still to come on TV9 Morning Rather, we'll talk with Dr. Ivan Backerman. He will talk to us about estrogen loss and therapy. Stay with us. Welcome back to TV9 Morning. According to a 1987 study, women who undergo total hysterectomies run an increased risk of heart disease if estrogen is not replaced immediately.
Besides increasing the risk of heart disease, estrogen loss may also lead to osteoporosis. With us to discuss these problems and some of the solutions is Dr. Ivan Backerman. He is a clinical instructor for the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at Emory University of Medicine. Good morning.
Good morning, Karen.
What exactly is estrogen?
Estrogen is the female hormone that is secreted by the ovaries, and you lose this estrogen when you have surgery and during the natural menopause when the ovaries fail to produce the hormone.
What is the effect? Why do we need
Well, besides
supplement,
the problems with increasing problems with heart disease and osteoporosis, with fragile bones and broken hips, there are terrible symptoms that occur with the menopause, whether it's surgical or natural, such as irritability, nervousness, insomnia, difficulty in coping, and hot flashes.
That's from a lack of estrogen.
Yes, it is.
And when you say surgical, you're talking hysterectomies.
That's right.
Okay.
Doctor, a lot of women, as I understand it, do not want to take that estrogen supplement for fear of why?
Well, there was a great deal of fear for years of cancer, and there's a certain number of women that don't like to take tablets. They don't feel it's natural. And with the advent of the new estrogen patch and estroderm, they don't have to take tablets, and they'll be supplemented with a naturally occurring estrogen 17 beta estradiol, which is the same hormone produced by the ovary.
And the skin patch is how old?
It's about 2 years old for the market.
We can take a look at it here.
The patch is placed over the lower abdomen and can be worn in the backside. The hormone goes into the skin, right into the blood vessels, and keeps a constant blood level throughout the day of 17 beta estradiol. The usual dose is about 50 micrograms per day. The level is constant, and there are no peaks and valleys. It's well tolerated by most women, And they seem to enjoy the idea of not having to swallow tablets and not having to take a tablet.
And they take this how, or apply the skin patch how?
You put the patch on about every 4th day. And the patients have good compliance. They seem to enjoy using the patch, and they seem to be right proud of not having to take tablets.
Certainly easier.
Yes, it is.
Let's talk about estrogen and osteoporosis, and then about heart disease.
Osteoporosis is a condition where the bone, the long bones and the flat bones of the body start losing calcium in their matrix, and the bones become weak. These women develop compression fractures of the spine, hip fractures, and in 1988 we expect 130,000 hip fractures in menopausal women simply because they're not replacing their estrogen, and therefore they're developing osteoporosis. 50% of these women, Carrie, will die because of the complications of hip fractures. So it's a very serious problem.
And estrogen can help prevent that.
That's correct.
All right, now, when you talk about natural menopause, at what age should a woman be concerned? How do you know you need to start taking estrogen if you haven't had a hysterectomy?
Well, somewhere between the ages of 45 and 50, most women begin to experience certain changes in their behavior and in their feelings, and their physicians working with them can determine that they do need estrogen and that their ovaries are beginning to fail in the estrogen output.
Would the menopausal cycle also be an indication of that you're going through that period and that you need estrogen?
That's correct, yes. There are many, many women who need to take hormones from age 45 to age 86 to prevent osteoporosis and prevent heart disease.
Doctor, what prompts surgical menopause?
The surgical menopause is when the ovaries are removed surgically for other reasons, such as disease of the ovaries, disease in the pelvis, pelvic inflammatory disease, fibroid tumors, and for reasons that occasion the need for the surgical procedure. The ovaries may be lost to the surgical procedure itself.
The skin patch is now available. In other words, they go back through their doctor.
That's correct. They have to see their physician, and it's easier than using tablets, and it's certainly safer than using injections.
What about cost?
It costs about the same thing as an injection of hormones. It's around $15 per month. It's a little bit more expensive than the tablet, but not unreasonably so.
And you would say better?
I think so. I think that it's the only way to get estrogen into the bloodstream in a constant level without having to go through the liver, as you have to worry about when you swallow the tablet. The liver breaks down the estrogen into inactive portions of estrogen called estrone and estriol, which are not as effective as the estradiol. So using the patch, you avoid this first pass through the liver.
Dr. Backerman, thank you very much for joining us. Fascinating.
Thank you.
Appreciate very much for being here. We'll be right back after this.
Stay with us.
Welcome back to TV9 Morning. It is now 6:28 on this Monday morning, and we want to say hi to a couple of special people. It is Joe and Jeanette Carroll. They're viewers of ours. They visited our church yesterday morning, so hi, you guys.
Good morning, Joe and Jeanette. Well, hey, I just looked outside.
Yeah?
The sun is already up.
All right.
That's right. The sun rose this morning at 6. The sun has risen at 6:16 this morning.
It's up.
That's right. It's already past 6:16. And this evening, the sun sets. If you having a sunset party today?
Oh, we can. We'll have a party for any reason.
8:44. How about that? I got the sunrise and sunset.
Well, that's a long day.
8:44. I know it is. In fact, it's getting longer and longer and longer until the first day of summer, which is 2 weeks from tomorrow. 2 weeks from today.
What?
June 20th? My goodness.
I'll figure it out. You go ahead.
Thanks. It's going to be a wonderful day today, just like yesterday. If you have any outdoor activities planned, if you're going out fishing this morning or anywhere in Oklahoma or around the state, very nice weather. Now, out in the Texas Panhandle, if you're heading out there, there's a slight chance of rain. In fact, there is some rain falling around the Lubbock area, but that's about it. Otherwise, Kansas, Nebraska, all the way through Missouri, Arkansas, and Texas, beautiful weather for the rest of this week. Right now, our temperature in Oklahoma City is 61 degrees at 629. The humidity, 75%. The winds are calm, sometimes out of the southeast at about 5 miles per hour, but that's it. Let's check the temperatures across Oklahoma in the 50s and 60s. 59 degrees at Gage with calm winds. 59 at Enid with calm winds. 61 here in Oklahoma City. 61 in McAllister. The winds there are calm. Down in the southwest, Lawton, 58 degrees with southeast winds at 3 miles per hour. Nothing significant. And way back down in the southeast corner, if you're heading down there towards Idabel or Hugo, 62 degrees. Any outdoor activities on the area lakes this afternoon should be wonderful. 5-day forecast looks like this. 84 today, up to near 90 by the end of the week. We could be warmer than that, but we'll just have to wait and see how the atmosphere begins to warm up. But it's definitely going to gradually warm throughout the rest of the week, and nighttime temperatures will start to become uncomfortable by Friday. 68 degrees. You may need your air conditioner most of the night by the end of the week. Here's the forecast. Today, 84. Tomorrow, sunshine, warm temperatures, 87. We may start to call them hot by the end of the week for the first time.
Thanks, Gary.
All right.
Let's go to Carrie Robertson now with this morning's news.
Thank you, Larry. A scuffle, a suspect grabs Lieutenant Gary Anderson's service revolver and shoots another policeman in the head. Police say that's just part of what happened last night at a motel in Miami, Oklahoma. They say Anderson then grabbed the other officer's gun and killed the suspect, Russell Wayne Haynes. Officer Brian Tennell is dead. Police say they're not sure if Anderson is badly hurt. The 23-year-old suspect was under revocation of probation for assaulting a policeman in Texas. Is education getting the short end of the stick in Oklahoma? State funding for education here is less than any other state in the nation, according to the National Education Association. Since 1982, state revenue for Oklahoma schools increased 2%. That compares with a national average of 41%. Other states in the region have also increased funding at a much greater rate than Oklahoma. Texas by 39%, Missouri 41%, and Arkansas by 54%. OEA President Kyle Dahlem says the statistics threaten to lead Oklahoma into a third world educational system.
We've got to get off of the rhetorical support and get on with the financial support. In fact, the economic situation can't be used as an excuse anymore because we have fallen too far behind right now.
Dahlem says if we continue to lag, we'll soon see a significant difference in the end product. The new contract between Firestone and United Rubber Workers Union is official tonight. Akron, Ohio and Noblesville, Indiana were the last two locals to vote on the contract, and both of them have approved the pact. That means the contract will be ratified even though workers at the Oklahoma City Firestone plant rejected the contract last week. They still have to abide by the national vote. Encouraging news for the 25 to 30% of Americans who'll get cancer someday. More and more people are surviving the disease. Newsline 9's Jennifer Reynolds takes us to a celebration.
Internship and residency in internal medicine. We've gotten to where we take one day at a time, try and make the most of that.
This is National Cancer Survivors Day. At Norman Regional Hospital, dozens of folks who've lived to tell about cancer gathered to celebrate their cures. Dorella Logan was diagnosed with breast cancer nearly 10 years ago at age 59.
The malignancy was rather large. There were lymph nodes involved. And so I had to have quite a lot of extra treatment, but I'm still here and I'm a survivor.
The folks who were cured of cancer at the Norman Hospital are celebrating another happening today, the groundbreaking for a new $3 million cancer treatment center. Both events have hospital officials smiling.
I think it's great because of the fact that patients need to know, future patients, since 1 in 3 to 1 in 4 will get cancer, that today we are seeing survivors and many survivors. And I think that's great. That's a very positive thing to tell people.
In fact, doctors say they are now curing half of all cancer patients, which means in the future on Cancer Survivors Day, there will be more folks like Dorella Logan who can get in on this celebration. In Norman, Jennifer Reynolds, Newsline 9.
Coming up, how do you become one of Oklahoma's 4-H Hall of Fame winners? And waking up to a morning of jazz with Peter Krause and Lisa Tercey. Both are on tap this morning after this look at the cash grain prices. Welcome back to TV9 Morning. It is now 6:36. Over 1,500 of the state's top 4-H members spent 3 days in Stillwater's last week for their annual convention. The week climaxed with the announcement of the Hall of Fame winners. It's Monday. The top 2 4-H members in the state. And we welcome those winners to our show this morning. Jerry Kiefer from Apache, good heavens, Apache, and Natalie James from Pond Creek. They were both just complimenting me a few minutes ago on what a wonderful show we have. If I could just learn to talk, it would be even better, especially on this bright and early Monday morning.
Got her nervous now.
Yeah, you got me all nervous and flustered. Congratulations to both of you. This is a wonderful, big honor. I know that is. And Governor Bellman gave you the honor or presented the plaques to you last Thursday. Was that right?
That's right.
What happens as 4-H winners? What do you get from that? I mean, a lot of honor and prestige, I assume.
That's right. It's truly an honor to be State 4-H Hall of Fame winner. It's a dream come true for me. That's been in the working for over 7 years. When I went to my first roundup, I seen the pictures uncovered, and I set a goal then that, hey, I want to be up there someday.
You really did set that as one of your goals?
That's right. I really did. And so it's a dream come true for me. But from now on, it'll just be going out and supporting. And
yesterday, pretty good chase, though. He did fall 1 stroke short of a playoff. Look at this on 11. Incredible shot. And he did make the birdie putt, needless to say. Atowski had a chance to win it in regulation. This was his par putt on 18 with Tom Kite looking on. He can't sink it, so on they go to the next hole, sudden death. On the second hole of sudden death, Kite sets himself for an easy par with this shot off the fringe of the green. And a beauty at that. Leaves himself about 8 feet. Pressure was on. Atowski answers with a little bit of shot making of his own just off the cart path. Look at where this lands. Inside Kite's ball, about 3 feet away. So that means Kite has to come up and sink his in order for Atowski to have to sink his. Kite barely misses the putt. Mr. Morris Atowski is planning a vacation to China. He can now spend $144,000 on that trip as he sinks the putt to win the Kemper Open. In other golf news, Orville Moody beat Bob Charles, Don Massengale, and Bobby Nichols on the first hole of sudden death yesterday to win the Seniors Players Reunion, that down in Dallas. Meanwhile, on the women's tour, Laura Davies won the Jamie Farr Toledo Classic by 3 strokes over Nancy Lopez. Out in France, it was Mats Wilander who won his 3rd French Open title, and in the process left the host country weeping just a little bit, perhaps. The 3rd seed of Wilander against Frenchman Henri Lacan in the final. That is a great name, and this is great tennis. Just watch Wielander's passing shots one after another. That's a cross-court gem of a backhand. Lacan was looking for the biggest win in his career. The Swedes' passing game just controlled the tempo, though. He foiled Lacan at the net time and time again, winning the first set 7-5. Never really looked back after that, suffering only 1 unforced error in the final 2 sets. Another shot down the line. 6-2, 6-1, the last 2 sets of the scores there. Championship point coming up. Lacan fights off 3 of 4 championship points, but not number 4. Wilander now has won the first 2 legs of the Grand Slam, the Australian Open and the French. Next up, Wimbledon at the end of June. Should he win that and the U.S. Open the first time since 1969. A local jockey led Okie Dokie Baby to a big victory in the Kansas Futurity yesterday, one of the 3 major quarter horse races of the year at Ruidoso Downs, New Mexico. John Marshall alum James Lackey came out of the gate from the number 9 slot and stayed with the pack. But then he just blew by everybody in the final 175 yards of the 350-yard race, finishing in 17.69, paying off 13.80, 440, and 360. My Dash was second, and Blushing Indian paid to show. A big win for James Lackey of John Marshall. Today is media day at Oak Tree. They're getting ready for the PGA this August. Ed Murray and Bill Teagans will visit with 1987 champ Larry Nelson tonight at 5 and 6, so please join them then. As for me, I'll see you next week, and you have a great week.
Thanks, Rich. Well, if you love to listen to jazz, you'll want to really tune in to our next guest.
Oh, I just love to listen to them.
Aren't they good?
Lisa Tercy and Peter Krause up next.
Popular hosts, prizes, a spinning wheel. That may sound simple enough, but there's a lot more going on behind the Wheel of Fortune these days.
Wow.
She did it. No matter what your reason is for being a wheel watcher, we're glad to have you along.
Whether it's for the excitement of watching a big winner or the anticipation of where the wheel will stop.
No other show gives you the thrill or the fun of Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune, Monday through Saturday at 6:30 only on TV9, the spirit of Oklahoma.
Welcome back to TV9. It is 6:51. This Sunday, there will be an outstanding concert at Will Rogers Park in the amphitheater, and two of the reasons it will be an outstanding concert are with me right now, Peter Krause and Lisa Tersey. Morning, guys.
Good morning.
How are you?
Wonderful.
Y'all are so busy because you're so good.
Oh, we're so busy and it's so wonderful.
How did you get started playing keyboard?
I started taking piano lessons when I was 4 years old because it was a great way to get points with the adults in my family.
Oh, yeah? Why?
Well, they were all musicians or interested in music, and we had a lot of family parties, and one of the ways that I got to get points with adults in my family was to be able to play at family parties.
Well, do you play other instruments?
No, just piano. I played drums in college, but I've been playing keyboard since about 1973 exclusively.
And you probably carried the melody on the drums, right?
No.
I wouldn't surprise
That
me.
was a bad
If anybody
group.
could do it.
Bad group when the drummer carries the melody. Well, would you be as good on the violin, say, with all the finger? I mean, are your fingers as good playing anything as they would be this?
I don't know about that. The violin hand is, if you look at someone like Perlman, for instance, he's got hands that are kind of fleshy, and the fingers are real flexible. So I don't know what a good violin hand is, but it's not a thin. It's not usually a real thin hand. Usually violinists have pretty strong hands, which you wouldn't really expect from a little instrument like that. But you look at them, and they're all pretty strong people.
And you've been singing all of your life?
No, forever.
Oh, you're not.
And that's just this lifetime, yeah. Yeah, that's just this time. Yeah.
What are you going to sing for us this morning, which we can't wait to hear?
We're going to do a thing from Carousel called If I Loved You.
Oh, it's great.
Found out
Peter
Carrie liked
Krause,
Broadway stuff.
Lisa Tersey, a little Broadway tune.
Yeah. If I loved you, time and again I would try to say all I'd want you to know. If I loved you, words wouldn't come in an easy way. Round in circles I go, longing to tell you, but afraid and shy. I'd live at my golden chances pass me by. Soon you'd leave me, off you would go in the midst of day. Never, never to know how I love you. If I loved you, longing to tell you, but afraid and shy. I'd probably let my golden chances pass me by. Soon you'd leave me, off you would go in the midst of a day. Never, never to know how I loved you. If I loved you.
Now, that's the way to start your Monday, is mellow. There is good, and then there is the best. And here are two of them.
Oh, bless you.
Tell us about Sunday, the Twilight Concert.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. I hope you'll come. It starts at 6:30, and you can bring a picnic, and you can bring your honey, and you can bring your kids.
Outdoors, of course, and the 9-piece band.
In the amphitheater. Oh, yeah, and the 9-piece band. That's right. That's right. That's
the
right.
big band.
Oh, boy. And that's
like
what time?
6:30 to 8:30 on Sunday.
6:30 to 8:30. That'll be this Sunday. All right. And thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see you again.
Come.
All right. We'll be right back right after this. Don't you go away.
Welcome back to TV9 Morning. It is now 6:58. Are your kids already bored without school to keep them busy? Well, tomorrow on TV9 Morning, Susan Parker, the curator of education for the Oklahoma Museum of Art, will talk about a publication that's chock full of things your kids can do this summer.
Well, you'll want to tune in for that. It is designed to keep them busy. Also, Oklahoma's new dairy princess will join us. Susie Davis comes from Ripley, Oklahoma, and you won't want to miss what she's going to be cooking up. That's tomorrow morning right here on TV9.
Good. Oh, we got his attention.
Wake me up in the morning.
boy.
The crew just lit up, didn't it?
That's true. It's almost breakfast time for us. But anyhow, it should be a great day if you're going outdoors. Let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. I know it's hard to believe, but there is no rain coming down to my 5-day forecast. No lightning bolts flashing, and that's because there's no chance of rain through Friday. And the temperatures will gradually be warming up to near 90 degrees Thursday and Friday. The winds will be light. Let's get out there, golf, tennis, anything. I tell you, it is just going to be a wonderful week.
Oh, I'm putting Lisa
floats.
and Peter's, yes, rafting. Rafting,
on the
yes,
pool.
on the pool, right. I'm putting Peter and Lisa's concert on my
You bet.
calendar for this Sunday.
Sunday night, 6:30,
That'll be a lot
Will
of
Rogers
fun.
Amphitheater.
Special thanks to Natalie James and to Jerry Kiefer for joining us bright and early this morning, and their moms also came.
Yeah, they did.
And you showed up too. We're so glad.
I'm glad you're here. We want to thank our crew for putting together the show. Also, a thought for the day from Aldo Updegrave and Grace Munt. And she writes, one moment of keeping your mouth shut is worth an hour's explanation.
I'm in.
Isn't that the truth?
Yes.
Have a good one.
Thanks,
Bye,
Aldo.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.